Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Hey everybody, John Peterson from John Peterson Photo here with a quick tip for you today. One of the things, I'll get right to the punchline for you. One of the things I do for every image that I publish is I add a vignette to it. So for those of you that don't know, vignette is a darkening or lightening of the edges and corners of an image. And I do this for a couple of reasons. I do it because I want to further direct the viewer's eyes to a particular part of the image where I really want them to focus. And I feel that adding a vignette also adds a little bit more three-dimensionality to the image. Having a gradation from dark to light across the entire image helps break up some of the two-dimensional feel that I have in some of these images. And so I add a vignette to everything. Sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it's very light. But above all else, I really try to make my vignettes subtle so people don't know that they're there. Vignettes apply to numerous different kinds of images, really from abstracts to grand landscapes to portraits. You can put them on every single kind of image, and I think it really adds to every image that I've produced. So I've really gotten in the habit of doing that. There are a couple of ways that you can do it. You can do them in Lightroom, you can do them in Nik, color effects, you can do them in Photoshop. I'll show you just Lightroom and Nik real quick while we're here. Here's an image of the Grand Tetons taken from near Oxbow Bend. And I'm sure most of you who have been into Lightroom know that down at the bottom there is post-crop vignetting, and you just move the slider left to right, wherever whatever you want and however you want it from a strength perspective. Again, because I don't put a lot of vignette in mine, I want it subtle. I don't want people to notice it. So I go pretty light-handed with this tool, with this slider. Remember, sliders go both ways. So we went from this as the original to this as a vignette. Original feels fairly flat, to this, which it feels more focused in the center of the image, and it feels more grounded, it feels more three-dimensional. And that's one of the great things why I like doing a vignette onto this. So one of the other ways to go about vignetting an image in Lightroom is to use the radial filter. So there's a button up here, and all you do really just drag. You can move and resize this filter anywhere you want it. Because the thing with the slider that I just showed you is that it puts the center of the vignette right in the center of the image. And let's say you might want the center offset a little bit because you want to highlight this area of the image. You can do that here by using the radial filter. So with the filter selected, it placed, and its size, I'll just drag down the exposure just a little bit, and I start to add a vignette on the outside of it. So we went from that to that, placed exactly where I want it to. Same thing you can do, when I mentioned with portraits, right? We can add another vignette into a portrait such as this. So, and I can make it any shape that I want when using the radial filter. And that's the cool thing about this, is I can size it just the way I want it to. And change the vignette there, change the exposure just a smidge. And boom, I'm done. Simple as that. So I went from that to that. Again, really trying to focus the viewer's eyes right here in the middle of the horse's head, right by his eye, because really it's the detail in his hair that's the focal point of this. Likewise, another landscape scene. This is in Norway this year. And again, I'll just make another radial filter. Maybe make it a little bit bigger. Again, adjust the exposure just a smidge. So the inside of this filter is staying unadjusted. The outside is the one that's being adjusted by the exposure slider. And if you want to see your mask, you can hover over the center point, and that's the mask that's being applied to your image. So again, we went from that to that. It's very subtle, but I think it is one of the most powerful processing tools you can apply to really up your game with your viewers of your images. So it's one that I do all the time. Then the last one, you wouldn't think about putting a vignette on something like this, but the image does feel kind of flat to me. So this would be one where I may go back in and add a slight vignette. I'd like to see what it looks like. And you know what? We went from that to that. It's one of those that I would leave a vignette on there because I want the viewer to look smack dab in the middle of the image at the cactus and the vine that's crawling up this wall. So it's a great, 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 powerful tool to add a little pop and a little bit of focus to your images. And so I'd really recommend experimenting with vignetting on every single image that you do to add focus and dimensionality and some depth to your images. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos, and have a great day. All right, bye-bye.